Hello, welcome to another in our database skills series. Today, how to keep track of things in a single table database. It's not perhaps the most efficient or elegant way to do it, but doing a multi-table database is a topic for another day. So here's a single table database in some sort of school. They have some sort of prefects and they do duties. I've got my usual test data set, A, B, C, D. I've been playing around with Dave Doolittle, and actually he's not very good. He's only done one duty this term so far, so whoever's using the database, perhaps ahead of college, needs to make sure that Dave does a few more. We could go into the table and edit things manually, but it might be neater to have a button that we can click to run a query to do an update for us. So, my stages are going to be to check the design of the table, then I'm going to create an update query which will change the data in the table, and then I'm going to use a form so that I can run the query in some easy way. I just want to check that the duties number is the right field size. I've set it to byte. Now what does that mean? We can press F1 and get context sensitive help and just check on the different kinds of numbers. The default is long integer, but that gives us numbers from -2 and a bit billion to +2 and a bit billion and takes 4 bytes of storage. Byte, a single byte, gives us numbers between 0, fair enough, and 255, which sounds a good maximum size for the number of duties that somebody might do in an academic year. So I've got something to record in my project log there that I changed the default from long integer to byte, and have a good reason for doing it. I'm going to save 3 bytes per prefect. Not a very big deal, but it shows I'm thinking about the efficiency of my database. So there's my table. Now I'm going to create a query. So I click on Create and I click on Query Design, and in the usual way it says what table do I want to add. I've only got one, so I'll add that. And I'm going to change the type of the query from the default of select to update. Now an update query asks me some slightly different questions. First of all, what data do I want to display? Forename and surname and duties. I'm going to use the surname as my search because I've got to select the one prefect whose duties I'm going to update each time, and I'm going to do an intelligent interactive query which will match the first 2 letters of what I type with the prefect surname. So type surname, but I won't have to type it all because I can add on a wildcard of the star after it, so anything that matches the beginning will work. We covered that in the interactive queries, I think. It's the duties I want to update, so here I'm going to do something that you might not have seen before. I'm going to right click and select Build. This is because I don't want to have to remember the complicated syntax or way that we put in the data I need. I need to select tables and table prefects and find the complicated way of telling Access that I want to select the duties field from the table prefects. Lots of square brackets and exclamation marks that we don't have to remember. Plus is fairly obvious, and I'm going to add 1 to whatever's in that field of duties will be added by 1 or increased by 1, which gives me a title for my query. I'm going to use the naming convention. It's a UPD query. It's a special kind of query, an update query. Add 1 to duties. Okay, so save that, and now we can test it and see if it works. It was Dave Doolittle who hadn't done very much. If we just look at him in datasheet view, there we are, he was on just 1. So if I go into this and make sure I'm in design view, I've got the good old exclamation mark there. So let's see if we can type in do for Doolittle, and it warns me, Access warns me, I'm about to update 1 row. That's good because it means there is 1 match, but no more, because I'm not going to update everybody, just the 1 record I want. So we do that and go back to table, and thank goodness that's worked. Dave Doolittle has now done 2 duties. So that's fine. I don't need to save that because I haven't made any changes since I last saved. I can close that for simplicity, and now I'm going to create a form. Create a blank form. I'll go into Design View for the form. I'll find a button. I'll draw out a button, and this time I don't want to do record navigation or record operations. What I want is actually hidden in miscellaneous. I want to run a query. What query do I want to run? Not my prototype, although it does actually do the same thing. I want to select my update query, add 1 to duties. Next, do I want a picture or a text? Well, actually here I think I want text. Add 1 to duties, or whatever it is I'm trying to add to. Next, do I want to have a meaningful name to help refer to the command button later? You bet, because I want to be as self-documenting as possible. Command run UPD QRY add 1 to duties. And there we are. So a sensible caption comes up on the form. Let's change the view to form view and click on it. Ooh! Big warning comes up. You're about to run an update query that will modify data in your table. Are you sure? Think about it for a second, but yes. Type surname. We're going to give Dave another duty. We get the same warning we did before. You're about to update 1 row. Yes, thank you. Let's have a look in table prefects, and sure enough, his duties have now gone up to 3. So if in your database you have a need to keep track of things that people are doing or attending, you've now got a trick for finding a way of automating that so that it can be run from a form. You can find the guy and add 1. Quite an efficient little way to do it. I hope you'll agree. And that's the end of this video.